Dangote-BUA Cement PLC, bringing 33.3 billion ordinary shares for listing, concluding its business combination with cement company of Northern Nigeria based in Sokoto State. Of course, the Obel Cement plant, which BUA Group owns, is also located in the north. That is the country's, Nigeria's northwest. It's a very big story that investors will be looking very keenly, and traders are also looking into this deal. Let's ask Rotimi Fakayejo, a market expert, a few questions about this particular listing and what it means for the cement war that is now being raced by BUA Cement, sneaking into the middle of Dangote Cement and Lafarge to become the second largest cement producer in Nigeria and the third largest company on the Nigerian Stock Exchange by market value after Dangote. MTN should have another cement company. This is how big as it can get. Good morning, Rotimi. Welcome. We appreciate your time on the program this morning.
Morning.
Great. Let's dispense with all the preambles. This is big news, so don't let us overemphasize that. But in terms of traders or stockbrokers' expectations of listings, and we spoke extensively towards the end of last year about MTN and Airtel, two big listings we had last year that didn't take time before they fizzled out, as it were. But this is in the industrial manufacturing sector, not services, where MTN Nigeria and Airtel Africa PLC were coming from. How different is this in terms of what it really means for the market, for market deepening?
Well, I think for BUA Cement Company, former CCNN, I believe strongly that this definitely is a kind of thing that the market has always longed for. Just as you rightly said, that what we had, the listing that we had last year was in the service sector, but this actually is in the BUA Cement is in the production sector. And I think with the kind of future for the production sector in Nigeria, and also the kind of growth opportunities available for that particular sector, I believe strongly that the time has come for stock exchange to actually establish itself as a front runner in the African stock market. And more so as that may be, I believe strongly that with 33 billion shares being listed yesterday fully for BUA Cement, is definitely going to be another landmark for listings in that particular sector, because we have the very strong ones, the Dangote Cement, Lafarge, that is not too strong at this time, and also now BUA Cement coming in. Not that it hasn't been around for long, but it's been there, but it's coming in stronger with a higher market share combined. So I think this kind of thing is really an excitement to stockbrokers and also to investors. And I believe that everyone definitely will harness the opportunities that arise in the future.
I'm interested in the competition. Sometimes I find a way of looking for trouble. You know, this is Dangote Cement on one hand. Aliko Dangote is from Kano State. Rabiu, who is also the chairman of the BUA Group, is also from Kano State. So this is as big as it gets. Two of them holding the Nigeria's cement industry in their back pockets, the lion's share of it, leaving Lafarge Africa, which was once the dominant player in that market 20, 30, 40 years ago, in a distant third position if you look by the size of the market cap. As we speak, Lafarge is about 250 billion naira, Dangote Cement is about 3 trillion, and BUA Cement 1.2 trillion. So if you look at it from the market size and the ownership size and location strategically, this is competition that is getting a lot more interesting than it usually was.
Well, I think is an advantage for both Dangote Cement and BUA Cement, because when you look at their areas of operation where they are actually located, BUA Cement has an opportunity and a large market share in the south-south and I think southeast of the country because of the location. Dangote Cement has great mileage in the north and also in the southwest. And Lafarge WAPCO is only constrained within the Southwest. So whatever is able to do in the Southwest is definitely going to be matched heads-on with Dangote Cement. So I believe now it's becoming clearer. The competition is quite becoming between Dangote Cement and BUA Cement. And I think it's definitely going to be a healthy competition, and I think everybody has his own space to operate. So for me, I think it's a very, very good thing for the Nigerian economy and also for this kind of heavy listing coming in that particular sector for the Nigerian stock market.
In terms of share price, about 35 naira, BUA Cement, and then Dangote, north of 100 naira per share. So let's talk about the share price and, of course, Lafarge on the trading floor. Do you think investors will be looking out for moving forward now that CCNN has gotten, is out of the way? BUA Cement is now the company that succeeds that M&A.
Well, I think to me, when you look at the pricing of the three stocks, Dangote at about 180, BUA Cement at about 38, and Lafarge at about 15. I think everyone is definitely going to jostle for the right position amongst them, because I believe strongly that 180 is not the resting place for Dangote Cement yet, and Lafarge is doing everything possible to come up. So investors are looking at the opportunity that the gap between the three, between the three may definitely be an advantage for those who may want to invest in Lafarge Africa. But one thing that is worthy of note among these three companies is that the number of shares in issue, that is the outstanding shares for all the three, are very, very large. So it diminishes the earnings per share for each of these companies. And I think that is really a heavy one that investors may likely want to look at. But one thing that may be sure is that the three of them may likely be looking at a situation of share reconstruction in the future. And I think if that happens, it definitely will boost their earnings per share, and will also attract more people to actually take more interest in those particular companies. So I believe that with the way it is, definitely we are seeing a new trend in that particular sector, and also a new limelight for the Nigerian stock market. And I think with the present market capitalization now standing at about 15 trillion for the equity market, I think it's quite a good one for the market, and I think we should be trending forward and not backward anymore.
Rotimi, so this is how Dangote Cement gets really smart, by pulling out a 12 calendar month share buyback, share reconstruction program. A special shareholders meeting is due on January the 22nd. In just about a week. Today is the 10th of January. So in about 10 days' time, Dangote Cement shareholders will be coming together, and I'm sure they're going to give an overwhelming approval for the share reconstruction. And we'll see the share price of Dangote Cement moving on this. So that means that BUA Cement will be left with, I think, one of the highest, if not the highest, number of shares in issue among these three cement giants.
Definitely, because I think, like you said, Dangote Cement or Dangote Industries Limited is quite getting smart at this. And I think with the way it is, with the share buyback that Dangote Cement wants to do, and also the future share reconstruction, there's every likelihood that they may get a new major shareholder that may take as much as about 10% going forward after the whole process is completed. And that definitely will be a landmark for the repricing of Dangote Cement. And I think maybe with the way it is, depending on the ratio of the share reconstruction which they'll be doing in the future, it definitely implies that we're going to see a Dangote Cement that will be ranking in price close to Seplat and even higher than that as the time may come. But for the other two, I think they also have to start thinking about what has happened in Dangote Cement in order for them to be able to at least harness the opportunities therein. Otherwise, we are going to see the share prices of these stocks either get stagnated at a particular level or even begin to recede at some level, depending on how the price goes up from now. So I believe strongly that the way it is, Dangote Cement is quite getting ahead of everyone, and I think is a line for others to toe.
BUA Cement, perhaps after did the facts behind the figures or facts behind the listing. They should just move quickly in the footsteps of Dangote Cement and go for a share reconstruction, whatever it is, shed some weight, because that is going to depress their earnings. The managing director, Yusuf Binji, yesterday spoke about 180 billion naira turnover and a net profit around 80 billion or something like that.
Well, with 80 billion, maybe profit, and also 33 billion shares in issue, that means we'll be having about 2 naira 30 cover or thereabout as the earnings per share. And if that be the case, it will be incomparable to Dangote Cement right now. We did a dividend of 16 naira in the last financial year, and we may even be doing something higher this year. And by the time they finish with reconstruction and share buyback and reconstruction, the earnings per share will definitely be over between 25 and 30 naira. So I think BUA Cement needs to have a rethink and a forward-looking approach to the pricing of their shares and also the number of shares that we have outstanding at the end of the day, if they're going to give that a consideration.
Any idea what Lafarge Africa should do to ramp up its own game on Nigeria's cement field? Or this is the way down for this particular company?
Well, I think, to be sincere with you, I don't really think Lafarge Africa has a say in this matter. Because with Dangote Cement having over 60% market share, and the combination of Obu Cement and CCN forming BUA Cement, I think they hardly had a say in this. Because the profitability of the company over the years has really dwindled, and the company is highly geared. So I think they have a lot to do, and it's really going to be a very tough one for them anyway.
It's going to be a tough one for Lafarge Africa. Highly geared there, you mean the company is in a lot of debt. That's what it means, using that technical terminology there. That's what it means, highly geared there. Thank you so much, Rotimi Fakaijo. We appreciate your time. But again, stick around. Your market is now the best performing stock market in Africa in the new year, 2020. We'll ask you a few questions later on the program. What do you think? Where is this steroid coming from? I want to know what multivitamin that the market is using. Beyond this cement, BUA Cement listing, what else is there for investors to look out for? And if this rally is sustainable? Rotimi, hang in there on the trading floor. We'll get back to you towards the end of the show.